Hey everyone, it's Merja here. Welcome to today's Q&A. Apologies for last week. I just was not able to get myself out of bed, and with this recovery from all the horrendous things that have happened in the last couple of years. Some days we're able to do it, and some days we are not. And last week was just one of those days. So thank you for your compassion and your patience. So thank you so much. Hey Cindy, good to see you here on this live call. Hey Anna, good to see you as well. So let's get straight into the questions today. Number one, what are your thoughts on developing our sensing and thinking functions? Do you believe INF types will benefit if we focus on becoming better at those functions? Okay, so for those of you who may not know yet, for both INF types, INFJs and INFPs, our sensing and thinking functions, or those sensing and thinking parts of us, are actually our inner children. So for INFJs, the 10-year-old inner child is the inward-facing thinker, and the 3-year-old inner child is the outward-facing sensor. And for INFPs, the inner 10-year-old is the inward-facing sensor, and the inner 3-year-old is the outward-facing thinker. So the question here is, do I believe that INF types will benefit more if we focus on becoming better at these functions? Yes, is the short answer, but the long answer to that is we shouldn't isolate them as parts of things that we need to fix. In my opinion, with those sensing and thinking parts of us, what we should do instead is harness their power, because these inner children have amazing powers and amazing gifts to give us all. And if we harness that, if we listen to our inner children, if we validate them, if we heal those wounds, we actually find out these amazing gifts that these inner children are bringing into our lives in both thinking and in sensing. So for me, it's more about how we approach developing these parts of us, as opposed to should we develop them. We shouldn't see them as just these things to be fixed. We should see them as these treasures to be uncovered. So yes is the short answer. And with the 4 people within work, where you actually treat these parts of you appropriately, and you kind of have appropriate expectations and realistic expectations of these parts of you, then through that work and with that work, you're able to harness the power of those parts of you. And of course, the appropriate way of dealing with these parts of you and developing these parts of you is to use them only in short spurts. So for example, the 10-year-old function, for, of course, INFJs being the inward-facing thinker, and for INFPs being the inward-facing sensor. What I'd like to recommend is that you don't ask that part of you to be present and to be like really activated for more than half an hour at a time, because they do take a lot of it does take a lot of energy to keep that part of you going. After about half an hour for the 10-year-old inner child, you start to feel like you're depleted. So you have to go and get your energy back in different ways. And for the 3-year-old, I really only recommend that you use them in spurts of no more than 15 minutes. Usually, like depending on how developed your 3-year-old is, you might be able to use them for 5 minutes, or you might be able to use them for 15 minutes. But after that, it starts depleting that part of you, and then you need to replenish that part of you again before you move on. So that's what I would say on that. So if this answered your question, I don't actually know who the question asker here is. So, but if that answered your question, let me know. It's very helpful for me to know when I've hit the mark. If you have further questions, or if I didn't answer the question, also let me know. Put down some comments in the comment section so that we can do a better job going forward.